Hey everyone, let me just get that there. Okay. Hey everyone, here to give my review of the Green Lantern movie out in theaters now, starring Ryan Reynolds. Um, so first, let's talk about the story. Um, okay, there is some criticism of this movie, and I can understand why some people are giving it somewhat lower reviews. And here's the reason why. There's no such thing as a bad story, because the story itself it's a good story, but it's probably better suited for comic books. And I'm not saying that you know comic books comic book stories should not be also movie ideas, but some comic book stories should just be comic book stories. And although this movie is taking bits and pieces of like the origin story of the Green Lantern Corps and Hal Jordan, but um, it's its own story with different pieces from here and there. And so, but this kind of story only probably should only be in comics and not a movie. But but a solid story nonetheless, but more suited for comics and not a movie. Because how you present a story. Some stories are just better presented by it is better presented in certain ways. So that's why I don't think this movie is gonna live up to the hype, I guess you can say, because in my opinion, it should be a comic book story and not a movie story. But special effects, 3D, loved every second of it. It made everything feel more real. It felt like you were actually kind of there. And truth is, if it wasn't in 3D, and the fact of all the high, special effects, high quality of it all, it this may have been a really sucky movie for me sitting there. But sitting there just watching, the special effects in 3D, it it really was worth the ticket price. And I gotta say, I did enjoy watching the movie. Um, the villain, well, the villain is okay. I can't remember. I was just there. I just came 10 minutes ago. Parallax. I can't remember this guy's name. But he also uses another guy named Hector, kind of like his minion, so to speak. Um, okay, I guess he played it okay, but he just there are two types of villains that there are in stories. There's the villain you hate, which is natural. You gotta hate the villain, and then there's the villain you love to hate, and that is where great stories between heroes and villains happen. Because if you've seen the Harry Potter films, you love to hate Lord Voldemort because in a way you kind of understand him a lot more. And this felt it feels a little bit rushed. There's some pieces where you understand why Hector, this evil minion per se, is the you understand why he is the way he is, but it just feels a little forced. And I think they could have chosen somebody better to um, be that part. But he did okay. But that's probably pushing it. But Ryan Reynolds as the Green Lantern, as Hal Jordan, he did okay. I'm gonna agree with CK61938 saying that he would have been better as the Flash, because he can nail that part perfectly, I think, and so does CK61938. But yeah, he did okay as Hal Jordan, and there were moments that it's like, yes, that is Green Lantern, that is Hal Jordan, but I think Ryan Reynolds would be more better suited as the Flash. But and the mythology, I like the mythology of this movie. It was really rounded in the Green Lantern mythology. You have the core, why it exists, uh, how they defend the galaxy, of the selection process. They even had brought in the yellow rain, which is a rain powered by fear, and that was kind of a cool twist into the movie. And it was in and they actually come together near the end, kind of like the scene right before like the main big battle, I guess you can say. They're having a discussion of like how is trying to convince them not to use the ring of fear or this yellow ring, because once you cross that line, uh, you become part of fear. Fear takes control of you, even though you think you can control it, which is you. The truth is, you can't control fear. Fear always controls you, and he pretty much and there are times it's like they were talking about we all have fear, but we can learn to fight it and not just accept it. You can fight it and find the courage within, and just as moments like that in the movie, it was like, yes, this is what the Green Lantern is all about. This is what light versus the darkness, and how to take the high road. So there were moments in this movie that shouted yes, but there were some downsides because you could have had a few better actors. The story could have been more well presented. I mean, you can definitely make another Green Lantern movie if it's a good story, if it's the right story for a movie. Like I said, the story should have been more like should have stayed like in a comic book rather than a movie. But so recap, the highlights are the mythology, the special effects, the 3D, and the downside is probably the villain, the way the story was presented, and there were just some other scenes that just it's like, really, do we need that? But I because at the beginning I'm like, okay, I'm excited, and then I'm like, oh, this kind of sucks, and then like, oh, this is kind of cool, and then we go back to, oh, this kind of sucks, and now it's getting really bad, and oh, maybe they're going to redeem myself here, and at the end it's like pretty decent ending. So there's a lot of ups and downs to this film, and I understand why people are getting negative reviews. And all in all, it is not a great movie, but it's not a bad movie. I'm gonna say it's an okay movie. If you like superhero stuff, like superhero movies, go watch it. If you like 3D, go watch it. If you like the special effects, go watch it. The story itself, you're gonna be I'm okay with it. But like I said, should be a comic book, not a movie. So what would I rate Green Lantern? Well, a scale of 1 to 10, on my personal scale of my preference, I would have to give this a 6.5. It's okay, but not great. And then, but if I were to take my preference out of the equation and everything, the movie kind of, I would have to give it a 5. But so yeah, I mean, like I said, if you like superhero movies, and especially if you like 3D superhero movies, do yourself a favor, go watch it. You get your money's worth, but don't expect Green Lantern to get any special awards or me making any records of anything of the sort. But Green Lantern, thumbs up, thumbs down. I can't even get my thumb into the view screen here. It's not a thumbs up, but it's not a thumbs down either. It's kind of like, kind of hanging there, but ultimately, should you see Green Lantern? Yeah, go see Green Lantern. You have a good time. It's worth your money. But Green Lantern is nothing special.